Good evening, friends. Today we will discuss about an excellent concept. Most of the students are very much afraid about that concept. That is none other than nomenclature of organic compounds. What is that? Nomenclature of organic compounds. Let us come to what do you mean by a nomenclature? Nomenclature is nothing but one type of naming of organic compounds. In the case of inorganic chemistry, the nomenclature is different. Especially in the case of cations, we have to name the atom first, followed by ion. In the case of anions, name of the atom plus ide plus ion. That is anion. But the nomenclature of organic chemistry is completely different from the inorganic chemistry. Okay? In this organic chemistry, nomenclature is divided into two parts. One is prefix part. Another one is suffix part. Okay, let us come to prefix. Prefix means the term which comes first. Come to suffix. The term which comes at end. Okay, prefix, suffix. Comes first, comes at end. Okay, most of the prefixes are prefix is a substitute or substituents. But suffix is a parent. Okay, let us come to prefix. How many prefixes are there? Prefixes may be one or many. But parent is only one. Parent is only one. So this is a simple differentiation between prefixes and suffixes. Combination of prefix or prefixes plus suffix is called nomenclature. Okay, so nomenclature can be nomenclature is nothing but it is a combination of prefix and suffix. Prefix is nothing but in the organic chemistry or in the naming of any particular organic molecule, whatever the term comes first, that is called prefix. Comes at a suffix. Substituent or substituents generally called prefix or prefixes. But in the case of suffix, parent is only the suffix. Next, prefixes may be one or many. In the case of suffixes, only one. That's why prefix, in the case of prefix, it never give complete meaning. It always give incomplete sense. But suffix always gives complete sense. Now you may get one doubt, sir, how to identify whether it is giving complete sense or incomplete sense? For example, methane. Does it give full sense or half sense or incomplete sense? Full sense. Methyl, half sense. Next, benzene, full sense. Benzyl, half sense. Okay. So when we heard about a particular wordings, we can easily conclude that whether the terms are giving full meaning or half meaning. Okay, so this is the difference between prefix and suffix. Combination of these two are called the naming of organic molecules. Okay, let's come to the nomenclature of the first part of organic molecules. What is the first part of organic molecule? Hydrocarbons. Later on, their derivatives have come into the picture. Okay, so let's come to the nomenclature of hydrocarbons. Nomenclature of hydrocarbons. So you know very well about the hydrocarbons. The naming of hydrocarbon completely based on the bond between carbon and carbon. Carbon and carbon is a single bond, those are called alkanes. Double bond, alkene. Triple bond, alkyne. Okay, so these are called alkanes. Anes. These are called enes. These are called ines. Okay, let us come to what are various types of these compounds. Okay, so the names of the compounds completely based on the availability of number of carbon atoms. Okay, for example, that is none other than stem of the hydrocarbon. Stem of the hydrocarbon. For example, if it is a one carbon, that is called meth. If that organic molecule, especially hydrocarbon, contains only one carbon, the stem starts with meth. Two carbons, that is eth. Three carbons, that is prop. Four carbons, that is but. 5 carbons, that is pent. 6 carbons, that is hex. 7 carbons, that is hept. 8 carbons, that is oct. 9 carbons, that is non. 10 carbons, dec. Okay, now we can see one carbon containing alkane. Stem starts with meth, hence its name is methane. Its respective alkene, methane. Its respective alkyne, that is methine. Okay, let us see what type of molecules are going to be exhibiting. According to the name, I am telling methane, methane, methane. So actually these two compounds are not at all exhibited. Okay, we will see later what is the proof for their non-existence. Okay, let us come to the name methane, methane, methane. Let's come to the next one. 2 carbons containing compounds are called ether. Ethane. 3 carbons, prop plus ane. Propane. Butane. Next, pentane. Next, hexane. Next, heptane. Next one is octane. Next one is nonane. Next one is decane. Let us come to alkenes. Eth plus ene. Come on, ethene. Next, prop plus ene. Propene. Butene. 5 carbons. Stem is pent. Pentene. Next, hexene. Next, heptene. Next, octane. Next, nonane. Next, decene. These are the names of alkenes. Let's come to alkynes. Ethyne, because 2 carbons containing. 3 carbons containing propyne. 4 carbons butane. 5 carbons pentyne. 6 carbons hexane. 7 carbons heptane. 8 carbons octane. 9 carbons nonane. 10 carbons decyne. These are the names of hydrocarbons. So these are called carbon-carbon single bond containing compounds, none other than alkanes. These are all called alkenes. These are all called alkynes. Let us come to these two names. Actually, these two compounds are not at all existing, because methane, how many carbons? Meth stands for single carbon. Okay, but in this particular case, single carbon is available. But according to the alkene, the bond between carbon and carbon is double bond. But here, how many carbons are available? Only 1 carbon is available. So that's why there is no availability of another carbon in the case of methane. Even in this particular case also, there is no availability of another carbon to make a triple bond between carbon and carbon. Okay, now you may get one doubt, sir, in alkane there is no availability of another carbon to form a carbon and carbon. Carbon must have to form a single bond. Single bond. But here, if carbon is going to form a single bond, only hydrogen is available here, hydrogen is available here, hydrogen is available here. Okay, but in this particular case, hydrogen is available here, but with hydrogen, carbon is not at all going to form a double bond. So here, carbon is going to form single bond with hydrogen. But we have to concentrate only on the bondings. Single bond, double bond, triple bond. If it is a single bond, alkane. Double bond, alkene. Triple bond, alkyne. In this particular case, there is a free availability of hydrogen to form a single bond. But here, formation of double bond between carbon and hydrogen is not at all possible. So that's why alkene and alkynes are not at all available, are not at all existed. Okay, that is the reason why methane and methynes are not at all existed in the nature. Okay, let us come to the names of another hydrocarbons. These are all the various names of hydrocarbons. How these structures are going to be exhibited, they will see in the next class. Okay. For example, randomly we will take some hydrocarbons. So butane is one example. Hexene is another example. Octane is another example. Butane. How many carbons are there? But stands for 4 carbons. In default, the bond between carbon and carbon is single bond. But ane is nothing but alkane. Along with the default must contain carbon-carbon single bond. Or carbon make a bond with hydrogen with a single bond. So, in this particular case, hexane, how many carbons are available? 6 carbons are available. Default, single bond between them. It is none other than chain of the hydrocarbon or skeleton of the hydrocarbon. We can also say that skeleton or chain. Skeleton or chain. Hexene we are going to form. Ene stands for double bond. You can keep double bond anywhere. Already it is a single bond. If you place another bond, this becomes double bond. So this is the structure of hexene. You can keep this double bond anywhere between carbon and carbon. Or here also you can keep. But here only one ene is there. That's why you have to keep one ene. For example, if it is a hexadiene, hex stands for 6 carbons. Hex stands for 6 carbons. Diene means 2 enes. You can keep 2 enes anywhere because here he has not mentioned the exact positions of the carbons. So this is the structure of hexadiene. Or in between, at these 2 particular places also you can keep the pi bond instead of these. Or you can keep at these 2 positions also. Or you can keep at these 2 positions also. Let's come to the octane. Oct stands for, this term contains how many carbons? 8 carbons. So these are the 8 carbons. The bond between carbon and carbon is, the default bond is single bond. Ine stands for triple bond. You can keep triple bond anywhere between carbon and carbon. Okay. So while writing the organic compounds, first of all you have to write the skeletons. For example, in the case of butane, simply you have written the skeleton. But stands for 4 carbons. Default single bond. At the same time, we have asked alkane. Along with the default, we have to write the single bond. Later on, you have to fill the valency. It is a hydrocarbon. You have already written carbon. You have to fulfill with hydrogens. How many bonds for a carbon? 4 bonds. Already 1 bond is there. You have to keep 3 more hydrogens. Okay. So actually, those 3 hydrogens have to write like this. In this particular case, 2 bonds are there. The rest of 2 are hydrogens. In this particular case, 2 more bonds are there. Rest of are 2 hydrogens. In this 1 bond is there. You have to keep 3 more hydrogens. This type of representation is called Fischer representation. Fischer representation, because such type of representation is developed by the scientist Emil Fischer. It is a Fischer representation. Or you can write another representation. In the same skeleton, how many hydrogens are here? CH3. Here how many hydrogens? 2 hydrogens. Here how many hydrogens? 2. Here 3. This is the chain representation. Chain representation. Okay. Or another representation is also there. Without showing the bonds CH3 CH2, CH2, CH3. It is called condensed representation. What is that? Condensed representation. Okay, so far we have learned three types of representations to draw the organic molecule. First one is Fischer representation. Another one is chain representation. Another one is condensed representation. Another one is dot representation, is also called Natta representation. Dot representation, how to represent those dots? So, one dot means one carbon, another dot, another carbon, another dot, another carbon, another dot, another carbon. Okay, so these are the four dots, means four carbons. Okay, between them you have to keep the single bond. Okay, actually, for example, if I keep small dots, if you draw the single bond between them, we cannot able to identify where are the dots. That's the reason you have to keep the dots in a zigzag manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, zigzag manner. Then you draw the dots consecutively. Okay, this is called butane. 4 carbons containing butane. This type of representation is called Natta representation. Previously, condensed representation. Before that, chain representation. Before that, Fischer representation. So, how many types of representations are there to represent an organic molecule? Fischer representation, condensed representation, chain representation, and Natta representation. Okay? Next. Any one of the structure you can write. So, you can write either by CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. In most of the textbooks, you can see the structure of butane like this also. CH3. How many CH2s are there? 2 CH2s. It is also called condensed representation. Okay. So, like that, you can also represent the hexadiene in how many types? 4 types. Normal Fischer representation. How many bonds per carbon? Actually, butadiene it is. How many? 4 bonds. Here already 4 bonds are there. Here 3 bonds. You have to keep 1 hydrogen. Here 2 bonds. You have to keep 2 more hydrogens. Here 2 are already there. You have to keep 2. But here you have to keep 3 hydrogens. Carbon. 3 hydrogens. This is Fischer representation. When you decided to write the chain representation, simply you can write CH, come on, 2 double bond C, double bond CH, CH2, CH3. Okay, condensed means simply remove the bonds, join these parts together. That is none other than condensed. If you want to write Natta, hexadiene. How many carbons? 6 carbons. Randomly you have to keep the carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexadiene. First of all, join them together. Diene. This is one diene. This is another diene. Or you can keep that particular bond anywhere. Okay. In the previous case, we have mentioned only one double bond, I think so. Okay. You have to correct it. Okay. So, hexadiene. In what way means? CH. How many carbons? 6 carbons. hexadiene. You can keep like this. Okay, in the previous case also we have drawn the structure in a correct manner. So how to draw this one? Randomly you have to keep 6. Join them. This is one bond, this is another. You no need to mention the hydrogens. This is none other than a Nutter representation. Okay. In the same manner, you can also write the 4 types of representations for octane. Okay. First one is Fisher representation, condenser representation, chain representation, and Nutter representation. There is no specific orders. First of all, you can write Nutter representation followed by Fisher, followed by condenser, followed by chain. But you have to learn 4 types of representation. Book to book, the representation of structures going to be changed. Okay. So these are the structures of hydrocarbons. Okay. Let us come to the how to nomenclate when the hydrocarbon is going to be substituted with some specific substituents. For example, what is this? 6 carbons containing alkane. Its name is hexane. Here I am not at all mentioning the molecular formulas of these hydrocarbons, because most of the textbooks, or in most cases, we are not at all going to write the molecular formulas of these hydrocarbons. We have to write the different structural formats of hydrocarbons. This is hexane. Normally everybody would like to represent the hexane formula like that. Yes or no? That's why this is called normally represented hexane. If you want to write normally represented butane, this is normally represented butane. Hence it is also called N-butane. If you want to write N-propane, normally. If you want to write N-pentane, that is N-pentane. Okay, let us take any one of the example. So previously we have taken pentane. Fill the valency. Okay, let us come to another form of this structure. In the isomerization we have already discussed. Its molecular formula is C5H12. Okay, what is the name of this molecule? N-pentane. I want to write the same structure in this particular format, because if any hydrocarbon contains some substituents, so how to give the name? See, these are called terminal carbon atoms. What are these called? Terminal carbon atoms. What is the other name for terminal carbon atom? Ultimate carbon atom. Terminal carbon atom or ultimate carbon atom. The adjacent carbons are called subterminal or penultimate carbon atoms. Subterminal or penultimate. This is also subterminal or penultimate because it is a terminal. If penultimate carbon atom or subterminal carbon atom contains a single carbon as a substituent. Single carbon as a substituent. Such type of compounds are called isocompounds. What are those? Isocompounds. So simply you keep iso. Then you count all the carbons. 5 carbons. 5 carbons containing stem is called pent. The bond between carbon and carbon is only single bond. Hence its name is isopentane. Okay? Again I am telling. This is also having the same molecular formula. Once you check, 3 3s are 9 plus 3, 12. 12 hydrogens are there. How many carbons are there? 5 carbons. Okay? Same molecular formula, but different structural arrangement. Such type of isomers are called structural isomers. skeleton is going to be changed. Yes or no? Okay, anyhow, come to the another type of format. How many carbons it has? 5 carbons. I want to write 5 carbons like this. How many terminal carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are terminal carbons. Okay, anyhow, if you consider this one as a terminal carbon atom, the adjacent carbon is called subterminal. What is this? Subterminal carbon atom. This subterminal carbon atom contains how many methyl groups? 2 methyl groups. Don't think that it contains 3 methyl moieties, because you have to separate the skeleton first. Don't consider the skeleton. This is the skeleton. Or if you consider this one as a skeleton, these two are the substituents. Okay? For example, I would like to consider this one as a skeleton. Now, this is the terminal carbon atom or ultimate carbon atom. This is penultimate carbon atom. This is also terminal carbon atom. Now it is called subterminal or penultimate. So, penultimate carbon atom contains how many carbons? 2 carbons. Hence, such type of compounds are called neocompounds. Neocompounds. Then you count the number of carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentane. So, in this particular case also, fill the valency CH3, 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 CH3. All at 3 fours are 12. H12. How many carbons? 5 carbons. Same molecular formula, but different structural formulas. Hence, these are called, yes, structural isomers. Okay. So, how to represent a iso compound? How to represent a neo compound means you have to remember that penultimate carbon atom substituted with a 1 carbon as a side chain, that is a iso compound. If penultimate carbon atom contains 2, that is a neo compound. So this is the way how to identify the iso and neo compounds. Okay? Come to the next task. So with this, okay, now we can see the radicals of hydrocarbons. So you know very well about this one. What is this? Carbon. Just you fill the valency. CH4. Its respective radical is called CH3. Is also called methyl radical. Methane methyl radical. It is none other than ethane. CH3, CH3. Its respective radical is ethyl radical. So like that, what is this? Propyl radical. What is this? Isopropyl radical or 2-propyl radical. So every time filling the hydrogen valency, every time filling of carbon valency with the hydrogen is somewhat difficult task. Just why you can write it in the skeleton format or Natta representations. Okay. For example, what is this radical name? Methyl, ethyl, propyl. 2-propyl or isopropyl. Butyl or N-butyl, normal butyl. This is isobutyl, penultimate carbon atom. 1 carbon as a substitution. Isobutyl. N-pentyl, normal pentyl. Isopentyl. One, two, three. 3-pentyl. So likewise, you have to remember the radicals. What is this? Ethyl, isobutyl, butyl or normal butyl, isopentyl, pentyl, normal pentyl, 1, 2, 3, 3-pentyl, isopropyl. So like this, you have to remember the radicals. Okay, let's come to the next hydrocarbons like alkenes. Alkenes. So how these alkene radicals are going to be formed? What is this? Propyl. What is this? Propenyl. Propenyl. Okay, next. What is this? Propyl. What is this? This is also propenyl, but the position of pi bond is going to be varied. Yes or no? So 1, 2, 3. Here at first position, in this particular case, second position, pi bond is there. Now you may get one doubt. 1, 2, 3. Why don't we give the numbering like this? We have to give the first priority to the carbon which is having the dissatisfaction of valency. Here. Okay. This is also called propenyl. This is 1 propenyl. This is 2 propenyl. These are also called allyl. Allyl radical. What is this called? Allyl radical. So, radical formation in alkenes. For example, you can see another alkene. What is this? Butene. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 butene. Now you tell me. 2 butenyl. Now you tell me. But 2-ene. 1-yl. Substitution. You have to start the numbering from there only. Okay. Next. Another example containing 5 carbons. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 pentene. Now you tell me please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Without keeping the substitution, it is a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentene. Once you keep the substitution over here, numbering is changed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can write pent 3-ene, pent 3-ene, 1-yl, pent 3-ene, 1-yl. So this is the way how to write the alkene radical. So likewise, you have to practice the alkynyl radical. In the same manner, if you keep alkene here, that is called 1-propenyl. If you keep triple bond here, that is called 2-propenyl. If you keep triple bond here, simply that is called 1, 2, 3, 4. 2-butynyl. If you keep triple bond here, but 2-ine, 1-yl. If you keep triple bond over here, simply it is a call without substitution, that is a 1, 2, 2 pentine. If you keep substitution over here, then the name is changed like pent, 3, ine, 1 ine. Okay, these are the various types of radicals obtained from the hydrocarbons. Okay, so in the next class, we will discuss about the nomenclature of the pending groups. The pending groups. What are those? Functional groups. We will see the nomenclature of functional groups in the next class. Thank you.